Thanks for watching our label builder tutorial video. What we'll do is we'll look at how we add label elements to a template. In this case, we're going to use the microscope slide H1 template. You can download that from the template gallery. And what I've done is I've removed all the elements from the label. So we've got a blank label, and then we have the pre-built template form. And we're going to make this label out of this form. To proceed, we'll click on the options drop down and then customize template. This brings us to form builder. We could add to or modify the current template form. Here's the different fields we can add. But in this case, we're going to go right to label builder, and we're going to add the elements from that form to our label. So let's take a look at the label builder function. Here at the top, we've got add element. This is where we can add different features, different things to the label. We can add barcodes, concatenates. That's when we connect strings of data together. We can add images, static text, of course, template fields, and lines as needed. Here we can adjust the font and the font size, and then we can bold, italic, and underline. We have our default settings here, so if we want to set the font, our size, different things like that, where they drop in, you can do so accordingly. And here's where we save the label. So let's begin. And again, we're going to try and recreate this label here. So I'm going to try and just slide that off to the side, and then we'll bring this in so we can see most of what we've got. So let's start with the top line. Now there's a few different template form field elements in this concatenated line of data here. S25, that was the prefix. 1001, that was the accession A, that's the sample. The first one here, that's the block number. And then this -1 is the slide number or the label number. So we need to create that as a concatenate. When we click our add element feature, notice concatenate is one of the options. So if I click on that, this box is going to pop up. And what we do is we recreate what we see there. So here's prefix. Here's the sample data, S24. That's similar to S25. Now we need to add some free text. We need to add a dash. So I put my dash in, I click add. And you can see now when I click on a session, I'm recreating what we saw in that label. So I'm going to put another dash, add it. Now we get to that sample letter A. So there it is. Block number. So that's, again, recreating exactly what we're looking for. We add another dash. And then that is the slide number, that one at the end. So this should look a lot like the format of that top line. If it does, I'm going to click save. That's going to drop it onto the label. Now I'm going to move this where I want it. It's at the top. Here we've got some coordinates that can help. I like 8 dots in. So this is a roughly 1 inch across, which would be in a 300 DPI environment, 300 dots. So 8 dots in, 8 of 300 is where the S begins. That 4 is how many dots down. I'll just change that to a 1 because I want it to be at the very top of the label. If I wanted to rotate it, I could, but I don't. So I'm going to leave it there like we see it, and we want it to be left justified. So we've added our concatenated line at the top. Now we want to add a template field for name. So here's the different template fields. A lot of those went into the concatenate already. I'm going to select name, and I'm going to select add, and there, notice it falls onto the label. So I'm going to put it closely in line with that top line. I'm going to change this to 8 dots in so it matches up with my top line. And then looking over here, it looks like we've got our stain and then our miscellaneous data. So let's go back to add element, template field, and now I'm going to look for stain. There it is. That's from that drop down box, and I'm going to add it. And let's kind of move these around a little bit. We're going to leave room for our barcode. It's a good practice to put the barcode on the left side of the data so you don't write over the top of the barcode. So looking at our sample data here, underneath the stain we have that miscellaneous data, that ABC 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to hit, again, add element. I'm going to go to template field, and then I'm going to find that was the miscellaneous data, and I'm going to click add, and there it is. So I'm going to put that in line with this stain, which was 109 dots over. So if I make this 109, it'll be even with the other. Now I'm going to put the date. So if you recall from template field, we have the current date option. It's going to add that. I'm going to put it over here. I'm actually going to make it smaller. Let's make this like I say a 20. So we'll make that date nice and small. We're going to match that 8 dots in so it's in line with everything else. And then since we've got some extra room, let's see how we would add static text. So if I wanted to put the laboratory name, say at the bottom of the label, I'd come here and I'd put static text. And then I'd write the static text here. So let's call this XYZ Laboratory. And let's capitalize XYZ, make it look a little more realistic. And for fun, let's italicize that, and then we'll move it to the bottom of the label and we'll center justify it. Let's increase the font a little bit, maybe 24, and get it again centered nice and even. Now the last thing we need to do is add our barcode. So I'm going to select barcode. I'm going to go to data matrix. In this case we want a data matrix barcode. I know that that's going to need to be bigger than a 25. Let's make it say an 85, and we'll test it from there. So let's do prefix. Again, we've got to kind of add the data we want in the barcode. So let's do prefix. I'm going to use a separator of a semicolon, and I'm building the barcode with sample data here. Next item we want in the barcode is the accession number. And then I'm going to do my semicolon separator again. Then we're going to do the sample letter, semicolon separator, block number, semicolon separator. I'm going to skip stain. I'm going to go to slide number, semicolon separator, and then I'm going to do the name, the patient name, and that was Peter Pan. So this, based on our sample data, is what the barcode would look like if you were to scan it. So that's what I want to see. I'm going to drop it in. It actually is a little bit bigger than I want. So let's make that, take that 85 and make it like a 75. That looks a bit better to me. I'll just kind of move things around, make them look nice and even on the label, kind of free up some space there. And it looks pretty darn good to me with the added laboratory name down there at the bottom. So if we're happy, we can go ahead and save it. Save it again. And now when we come back here and we add some data, just as we've done there, now we can tell it how many slides we want to print and print. And then over here we're going to see slide 1, slide 2, and slide 3. So that's how we use our label builder to add elements to the different labels.